We say shalom, brothers and sisters, and once again, this is another wonderful lesson on the behalf of Solid Foundation, Israelite Academy. That's Solid Foundation, Israelite Academy. I'm your host, Shabar Judah ben Israel, and we're going to bring you a wonderful lesson on today. But before we get into the lesson, let's sound the shofar off, and we want to say Shabbat Shalom, Happy Sabbath, to you Hebrews out there, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, and let's sound this shofar off. That's one for the Father. There's two for Hamashiach Yahushua, being the Son of the Heavenly Father. And that's for the Ruach Kodesh, okay? The Holy Spirit. And a shofar can be extremely hard to blow. This thing right here, it takes meditation and concentration to sound it off. It's not just putting your lips to it, you know. And I stated this previously, that the shofar, it takes practice to learn how to basically make a distinct sound. The sound is off. But y'all take the mistakes for love. Let's get into the lesson on today concerning Isaiah the 24th chapter. Okay, so we're going to start out with Isaiah the 24th chapter, and we will elaborate and expound on Isaiah the 24th chapter, and we will break this down through the spirit and power of Hamashiach Yahushua. The spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Hamashiach Yahushua, who the world calls God and Jesus the Christ. So let's go ahead and get into the lesson. Isaiah 24:1. Behold, says Yahweh, maketh the earth empty, okay, and maketh it waste, and turns it upside down, and scatters abroad the inhabitants thereof. So, you know, the Lord, Yahweh, the Heavenly Father, says that this is biblical prophecy, that he's going to make the earth empty. So how he would do that? Well, brothers and sisters, nuclear destruction comes to mind as referring to making the earth empty. This is how he's going to do this. This is nuclear destruction that's going to be carried out, you know, in these difficult times, last days that we're living in. Actually, nuclear invasion is right around the corner. If you know about anything concerning World War III, between, you know, foreign countries like Russia, North Korea, China, Iran, you know, it's a third world war that's coming, you know, and America is going to be involved in this third world war. And America is Babylon the Great, a code name for America, Babylon. And the Bible clearly tells you that America would be destroyed by thermonuclear destruction, ICBM missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles, or you would say atomic bombs. You know what I'm talking about, in the nuclear community. So that's what it's talking about in Isaiah 24:1, that Yahweh maketh the earth empty. And this is how he's going to do it. Okay? Nuclear destruction. So this is the end of America, man. If you haven't lived it up, don't worry about it. Try to get your spirit, your soul right with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Line up with these laws, statutes, and commandments, because this is the fate of America. It's going down. And as you can see in Isaiah 24:1, it says he maketh the earth empty. Now, it's not talking about the whole entire earth. It's just talking about certain regions on the earth. And I will show you that. This is Ecclesiastes 1:4. Says one generation passed, and one generation passed away. That's talking about death. You know, because, you know, when you have children, your children makes a generation because they sprang from your genes. That's where you get the word generation. Generation is just the root word of genes. You know, we all have children that comes from our genes. So that's talking about just one generation of people passing away and a new generation of people coming in, which they would eventually pass away as well. And it says that people come and go. People are born and then eventually they die. But it says the earth abideth forever. So it's talking about the earth as of a whole. The earth abides forever. The earth will always be here. But however, in Isaiah 24:1, it says Yahweh the Lord maketh the earth empty. What it's possibly talking about is that we know the earth would abide forever, pursuing Ecclesiastes 1:4. So it's just talking about it's certain regions on the earth that's going to be destroyed. Like you see here. You see America in flames and smoke. You also see like China, Russia, all these third world countries over here, including Israel, because that land is going to have to, that land, Israel, is going to have to be purged before he can bring back in the true Jews, the true children of Israel, which are the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. He would purge this land by fire in other third world regions. You see, now, however, you know, after this third world war, we will go into the wilderness. Now, we don't know if the wilderness is actually going to be South America or Africa. Africa can be the wilderness that we're going into, or it could be South America, because most likely these regions is not going to be destroyed. But you can see like up top certain regions like America, Russia, China, Iran, Pakistan, you know, North Korea, France, Britain, all these areas is going to be destroyed by thermonuclear invasion, you know, that consists of this third world war. So don't think the whole entire earth as of a whole is going to be destroyed when it says the Lord maketh the earth empty. You see, but it says, and make it the waste. Don't think the whole earth will be destroyed. Certain regions on the earth. So how he make it the waste? It's self-explanatory once again. He make it the waste by nuclear destruction, man. As you can see, because if you don't know the potential of a nuclear warhead, atomic warhead, ICBM missile, if you don't know the potential of it, then brothers and sisters, you need to get online and you need to do some research and find out how powerful these weapons of war. Find out how powerful they are. Okay, so yes, this is how you will make it the earth waste. You see, and it's a turn it upside down. How? Nuclear capability, man. This is what's going to happen to America. America is going to be turned upside down. The landmarks, the county lines, the city districts, the countries, the subways, the bus stations, ballparks, the theme parks, you know, all these areas, man, in America, which is Babylon, they're going to be turned upside down. Also, other areas in the Far East, you know, they're going to be turned upside down. China and all these other regions, they're going to be turned upside down. Now, what verses comes to mind when you think of Isaiah 24:1 as concerning the missiles making the earth waste? We got a precept we're going to bring out, okay? This is Isaiah 54:16. Isaiah 54:16. Okay? It says, behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. The smith are those Edomite German scientists. You know, they have scientists over there in Germany that is specialized for, you know, making weapons of instruments of mass destruction. So when it talks about the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, that's talking about those nuclear scientists over in Germany and other regions that have constructed these weapons of warfare. See that? And it says, and bring it, and he have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. Basically, you know, those Edomite scientists that have formulated these nuclear warheads. It says, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. The instrument for his work is talking about nuclear missiles that they build. You know, they come together and they decide on how to, you know, construct weapons of mass destruction, which is the instrument for his work. It says, I have created the waster to destroy. So what is the waster that's going to destroy? It's talking about ICBM missiles. Intercontinental ballistic missiles, man. Okay, North Korea has nuclear capability. Basically, all these regions have nuclear capability. And it's going to be a third world war. They're going to blow each other up, man, through warfare. And America is definitely going to get the missiles. So that's talking about the waster to destroy. What else it can be talking about? He says, I have created the waster to destroy. What else is counted as the waster to destroy? What else if it's not nuclear destruction? What else could it be? It's nothing else, because this is what you would call nuclear warfare, man. Says 5 steps to surviving a nuclear blast. The only thing that's optional, the only thing you can think of is underground bunkers, which the elites will survive this nuclear destruction. But that's biblical, because we would need a remnant of those elites to enslave them, so their offspring can come back and serve their judgment. There's really no steps of surviving a nuclear holocaust, man. The only way to survive this is to blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, is to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. If you do that, then you are A-OK with the Most High. If you are sinning and granting a transgression in the earth and breaking the Most High's commandments, you can just count yourself right in with this nuclear destruction. You could just count yourself right in with these burning buildings of America that's soon to come, and all these other regions that's going to be burnt down. Okay? So that's the waster to destroy, pursuing Isaiah 54:16. That's the waster to destroy. Now, like I said, brothers and sisters, there's no way of surviving this. The only way you can survive this, let me give you the scripture. So let me show you something concerning the scripture. Now, these are different verses, cross references concerning surviving this nuclear holocaust. Revelation 2:11. He that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says. And to the churches, he that overcomes shall not be hurt of the second death. The second death is nuclear destruction. Now, what was the first death? The first death was the flood during the days of Noah that flooded the entire earth, spared 8 people, and killed all the rest of the inhabitants during the times of Noah. That was the first death. The second death is nuclear capability, nuclear holocaust, man. And he said that he that overcometh, he that overcomes what? He that overcomes his flesh, he that overcomes transgression, abomination in the earth, he that keep God's commandments, that's the only way you can overcome, shall not be hurt of the second death. So this is the only way out of this thing, man, that they call nuclear destruction. There's no way actually to survive, nuclear blast, man, unless you just have the money like the elites to build underground bunkers. And they're not getting away, because like I said, the remnant of Edom, they're going into slavery, man. They're going to be the first one to get the chains upon them. So there's really no way of surviving a nuclear blast. The only way is the scriptures right here. Revelation 2:11. You have to overcome not to be hurt of the second death. And also Revelation 20:6. Blessed and holy is he that hath part of the first resurrection. Okay. And on such the second death has no power. Now, what is the second death? The second death is thermonuclear destruction. If you keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and if you walk with God and his commandments, then on such the second death, it has no power over you, meaning that you will not be consumed. So you want to know steps of surviving a nuclear blast. There's no steps of surviving a nuclear blast according to the America agenda. But according to the scriptures, there are steps to survive a nuclear blast. And you know what that is? That's overcoming by keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of God. That way the second death won't have power over you. But if you follow the damn government and listen to their policies, you're going to be the first one to get a missile. Okay? Says, but they shall be priests of God and of Hamashiach Yahushai, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. And this 1,000 years, that's when the nations will serve their judgment for what they have done and carried out on the children of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. Okay, so Revelation 20:14, and death and hell was cast into the lake of fire. Death and hell is talking about, this is an allegorical, figurative saying relating to the heathen nations as death and hell. These are talking about other heathen nations outside of Israel. Death and hell. were cast into the lake of fire. All these other heathenistic nations, including the so-called white man, and also 2/3 of our people that chose to follow the heathen and the so-called white man. Death and hell was cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. So nuclear destruction is the second death. And the flood that flooded the earth out long time ago during the days of Noah, killed all the inhabitants and spared 8 people, that was the first death. Okay, so let's go back to Isaiah 24th chapter. And that sums that up in Isaiah 24:1. Speaks on make it the waste and turn it upside down. So when he turns it upside down, give you a precept for that too. Isaiah 24:1. How he turneth it upside down. When you think about turning something upside down, that's nuclear destruction, man. Because they are, they are the only things. Nuclear missiles are the only thing you can think of when it comes to turning something upside down, man. And causing mass destruction in the earth, causing, catastrophe in the earth, havoc and chaos in the earth, or turning something upside down. I'll give you a precept of that too, okay? This is Isaiah 34:11. Now Isaiah 34 talks about nuclear destruction as well. We will go back to Isaiah 34:11, but let's skip up a little bit to show you that it's talking about nuclear destruction. All right. Okay, now watch this, brothers and sisters. It says, Isaiah 34:3, their slain also shall be cast out, their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. How would this be? You're going to figure out it's nuclear destruction. Isaiah 34:4, and all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved. See, dissolved. How? Nuclear destruction. All right? The hosts of heaven are the leaders that occupy and run this world, like the elites, the rich and wealthy banking families, the 13 Illuminati bloodlines. To wrap it up in a nutshell, the Illuminati, okay? People in higher power, the hosts of heaven. They shall be dissolved, the elites. It says, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll. Because that's talking about the heavens being rolled together as the form of a mushroom cloud. See that? It says, and all the hosts shall fall down. All the top ranking elites, you going down, man. It says, so you can play games right now, and you got your secret societies, and don't want to let the masses know what's going on, because you pull strings on a daily basis. You run this world, but your ass going down, man, concerning the scriptures. Your hosts of heaven, the elites, the international banking families, the Rothschilds, you know what I'm saying? The Oppenheimers, the Bilderberg, all y'all, man. You're going down. Just like a leaf that falls from a vine. You're going to fall down, and as a falling fig from a tree. Because when these missiles shake y'all asses, y'all falling down, man. You see? And even though you got your underground bunkers, you still going into slavery. Isaiah 34:5, for my sword shall be bathed in heaven. The Most High sword is a representation of these missiles. It says, behold, it shall come down upon Idumea. That's a Greek name for Edom, which is the so-called white man, Esau. It says, and upon the people of my curse, because the so-called white man was cursed with lack of pigment. When you go back and read the story of Cain, all the way back in Genesis, the Most High set a mark upon Cain. And that mark was what you would call modern day vitiligo, or some may call it albinism, or some may call it leprosy, that he set upon Cain for killing his brother Abel. He cursed him. He cursed his pigment. Cain came back reincarnated in the form of Esau, and he was cursed to judgment. That's what that's talking about, man. So I'm not trying to stick on nuclear destruction because I have a lot more to break down in Isaiah 24th chapter, but this is what it's talking about. He turned it upside down. Okay. Isaiah 34:11. But the cormorant and the bittern shall possess it. Now those are owls that's going to possess this deserted land after it's destroyed, because it's going to be like a damn desert, man. There's nothing going to be here after these missiles touch ground on America. America's going to be a damn wasteland. It says, also then the raven shall dwell. Only thing that's going to be dwelling here are owls and birds, the fowls. It says, and he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion. Now, what is the line of confusion? The line of confusion meaning that when you look at America today, brothers and sisters, all right? Because let me give you an illustration. When you look at America today is kind of arranged and organized. You have like different countries, states, and you can see right here, you can see basically the border lines, you can see the county lines, the country lines. You see Florida down here, and then you see that line right before you get to Georgia, to Alabama. And then it's a line right here that separates Georgia from South Carolina. And then there's a line right here that separates Alabama from Mississippi. And there's a line there that separates Mississippi from Louisiana. And there's a line there that separates Louisiana from Arkansas. There's a line here that separates Texas from Oklahoma, and so forth. All these margins, so to speak, these are lines that separate states. So you will know that when you're crossing over into a new state or not. You will know that. See, if you see Nevada right here, Nevada, the line right here separates Nevada from California. But after these missiles touch ground on America, it's going to be called the line of confusion. You're not going to know where Texas was to Oklahoma. You're not going to know where New Mexico was to Arizona. You're not going to know nothing because it's going to create a line of confusion. You're not going to know where Tennessee is from North Carolina, Georgia from Florida, Alabama to Mississippi, Iowa from Wisconsin. It's not going to be these margins because these missiles going to touch ground on America, and these missiles going to stretch out and create upon it the line of confusion. And the stones of emptiness. The stones of emptiness meaning that you will have deserted buildings, apocalyptic scenery. That's all it's talking about. It'll be like what you see here, like that. That's known as the stones of emptiness. These deserted apocalyptic buildings. You know, your White House is going to look like something like this. All these deserted apocalyptic buildings, once they are destroyed, is known as the stones of emptiness. You see that? So Isaiah 24:1, I think I pretty much expounded on that enough. It says, and turned it upside down. That's the line of confusion. It says, and scatter abroad the inhabitants thereof through the great calamities that's to come. Scatter abroad the inhabitants thereof. When these missiles go to shooting over here and touching ground, people is going to be screaming, hollering, bugging out, trying to find refuge and hope. That's talking about scattered abroad the inhabitants. Like everybody's going to be running and screaming, man. Isaiah 24:2, it says, and it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with a mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, and as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. And Isaiah 24:3, the land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord have spoken his word. So this is not the sayings of man. This is the saying of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. And the land shall utterly be empty. It's going to be like a wasteland, man. It's going to be like this after these missiles touch ground on America, Babylon the Great, and other regions. What does it mean in Isaiah 24:2? It talks about, you know, the priest, the servant, master, maid, mistress, buyer, seller, lender, borrower, taker of usury, and also it talks about the giver of usury. What is this talking about? In Isaiah, the 24th chapter, and the second verse, it's talking about people's status. How can I say that? The Most High can care less about your careers, because people think that, you know, your career will save you. People think that their status, where they at, that would save. Most High don't give a damn about your careers and where your status rate at. He don't give a damn if, see right here it says priest. These are referring to modern day pastors. He don't care if you're a pastor, because most pastors are going off anyway. Most pastors are nothing but Pharisees that's teaching lies for financial sake. Mega pastors and all these lying ass pastors today. The Most High don't give a damn if you're a pastor that's generating money by flattery and deceit. He don't care if you're a servant that's in servitude to someone. He don't care. He don't care if you're a maid that's serving someone, like a butler or something. He don't care about a mistress. You know, he don't care if you're a buyer or if you're a seller, basically a merchant. You understand? A lender, because that's dealing with the banking systems. He don't give a damn about these different banking systems. You see, he don't care if you're a borrower, you know what I'm saying, a taker of usury or a giver of usury. All this is talking about is people's status and where they at and their careers, their businesses that they own. Most I don't give a damn about that. All he cares about is the elect of the nation of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans who are walking in his law, statutes, and commandments. Basically, if you're not keeping the Most High's laws, he don't give a damn where your status is at. He don't care what your business is about or your careers. Keep the laws or perish. Keep the laws or be caught up in this right here, man. That's all it's talking about. Isaiah 24:3. The land shall utterly be emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken it. That's self-explanatory, man. Many will die. Many will die. Let's go to Isaiah 66:1. Many blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, including all the heathens, will be put to death. That's what it means. The land shall utterly be empty. It's going to be dead bodies all over the place. Isaiah 66:16. Okay, just for a cross-reference. Says Isaiah 66:16. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So how would the slain be many of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh? Says, for by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh. Now what is that? Nuclear invasion, man. This is how he gonna plead. Because many individuals is going to be toast. It's going to be burned. The Most High don't give a damn if you the richest man on the earth. He can care less about how many businesses that you own. He can care less about how many corporations that you have, or your damn real estate businesses. He don't give a damn about that. Why you holding out your hand trying to stop the Most High from destroying your work? Says, for by fire will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord Yahweh shall be many, man. That's what it's talking about. Most High don't care what your position is. All he cares about you walking in his law, statutes, and commandments. But people put their careers before the Most High. People put their businesses before the Most High. Okay? All this moderate financial stuff, all this, the worldly things, they put it before the Most High, man. Materialistic stuff. And the Most High don't care about that. Isaiah 24:4. The earth mourns and fadeth away. The world languished and fadeth away. Says, the haughty people of the earth do languish. Talking about prideful people. These haughty people are very prideful. They think that this is not going to happen. They think that the land will not utterly be empty. They think that the land will not utterly be spoiled. They think that the Most High Yahweh Bashim outside have not spoken his word. Because when we talk to other brothers and sisters out here, they take it for a damn joke and want to say that there is no such thing as nuclear destruction. There is no such thing as nuclear capability and invasion. These are haughty people that make such statements. These are haughty people in the earth that do language, man. Okay, they are haughty. They are prideful. Amos 9:10 is a perfect precept to haughty people. Okay, this is Amos 9:10. It says, Amos 9:10, all the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. Because that's what brothers and sisters say. They would say there's no such thing as nuclear missiles. That's a hoax. There's no such thing as nuclear invasions. America will never be destroyed by atomic missiles and nuclear missiles and so forth. That's a lie. You know what, brothers and sisters? Whoever that makes that statement, you are counting in Amos 9 and 10. All you sinners of the Most High's people. Because blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans being Israelites, that don't mean that you're going to be saved because you're Israelite. Because the Most High said only 1/3 of his people, 33.3%, shall be saved, while the other 66.6%, which is the 2/3, would be destroyed. So that don't mean a damn thing because you're an Israelite. Because everybody are not walking in the Most High's commandments. So all sinners are his people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, that don't believe in these scriptures, that don't believe in these biblical prophecies concerning nuclear destruction, says gonna die, man. Shall die by the sword. Now, shall die by the sword. That's in reference to the nuclear missiles. Because the sword of the Lord is the chariots, all right, and also the nuclear missiles that he will plead with all flesh with. That's the sword of the Lord here, man. This is a figurative speech, the sword of the Lord, figurative speech. You're going to die for making such folly statements. Talking about there's no such thing as nuclear invasion. And the Bible clearly tells you that. See that? These are haughty people, pursuant to Isaiah 24 and 4. That do language. Isaiah 24 and 5. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws and changed the ordinances, broken the everlasting covenant as well. So the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws. Now who is they? It's talking about the Israelites that have broken God's commandments, because the laws was not given to all nations. The laws weren't given to every single nation on the earth. See, the Most High laws, statutes, and commandments wasn't given to 2 to 18. The people in the red box are heathens. They are not the chosen people. Neither are they the people of God. So the Most High never gave his policies, his laws to the ones in the red box. But however, if you're number one, you are what they would call the 12 tribes of Israel. And I will show you what I'm talking about. Number one consists of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans right here on this 12 tribe chart. Now, if you're number one, this is you. So-called Negroes are from the tribe of Judah. So-called West Indians, the Jamaicans, are from the tribe of Benjamin. So-called Haitians are from the tribe of Levi, going on down. So if you're number one, then this is you. But if you're in the red box, you're not an Israelite. These are the nations that was not given the policies and the commandments of God. So Isaiah 24 and 5 says the earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the law. So you can see this is clearly talking about Israel, because he gave Israel only the law. Now, I'm going to give you a cross-reference to this, because this is not talking about all nations here in Isaiah 24 and 5. I'll give you a cross-reference, and we'll go straight to that to show you that the Most High established a law in Israel. And I believe this can be found in Psalm 78 and 5. So let's head over there. Psalms 78 verse 5, and we'll show you. Psalm 78 and 5, for he established a testimony in Jacob. Now Jacob is another term for Israel. It says, and appointed a law in Israel. So he appointed a law in Israel. He did not appoint a law from 2 to 18. He did not appoint a law in the nation of Edom or Elam, Asher, Aram, Ishmael, Moab, going on down. These nations were not appointed to walk in his laws. The only nation that was appointed to walk in his laws is what? Psalm 78 and 5, Israel, which he commanded our fathers, which is Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, that they should make them known to their children. So what we're supposed to be doing is making these laws known to our children, teaching our children, raising them our children in the law, teaching them how to follow the policies of God, so they can prevent this nuclear destruction, so they won't be consumed in this third world war. See, that's what a lot of parents don't want to take the credit for. See, parents, you are basically, you're going to be looked at on how how you establish your household. The Most High going to judge you on how you uphold your household, especially you men, because you the leaders of the house. And the Most High is going to judge you according to what you teach your children. And also, he's going to also judge the mothers too, according to what they teach their children. We teaching our children everything else rather than teaching them to walk in the laws of the Heavenly Father. This is what we're giving to Israel. The laws, statutes, and commandments, which he commanded our fathers. He commanded. This is a command. This ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. This is mandatory, man. He commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children. So when you fail to make the laws known to your children, you set them up automatically for destruction, man. So don't come to me crying when your baby in flames. Don't come to me crying when your baby is shot up by martial law troops. Don't come to me crying when your baby is hacked all up, thrown on the bus, taken to a concentration camp. Don't come to me hollering. Because if you do the scriptures, you should know that being an Israelite, you should make these laws known to your children just like our fathers did. But Israel ain't doing that today. So the most I got to prove his point by burning a lot of children up. And also parents and other nations. So he established a testimony in Jacob. So when you go back to Isaiah 24th chapter, and it talks about in verse 5, who transgressed the laws. Who did that? Israel. Because the only way you can transgress the law is to be an Israelite. You cannot transgress the laws if the laws weren't given to you. That don't make any damn sense. See, from 2 to 18 cannot transgress the laws because the laws wasn't given to 2 to 18. They can only be the devils who the Most High appointed them to be. They can only be the heathen to carry out affliction upon God's chosen. So in order to transgress the law, real transgression of the law is to be an Israelite. If you're a heathen, there's no way possible you can transgress the laws of the Heavenly Father. So Isaiah 24 and 5 is talking about Israel that's breaking God's laws. They changed the ordinances and broke the everlasting covenant. How did they change the ordinances? How did they change the oracles of the Most High God? I'm going to show you how they did it. A perfect illustration. Pursuing to Isaiah 24 and 5. We can go to Jeremiah 2 and 11 and show you how Israel changed the ordinances. Jeremiah 2 and 11. Has a nation changed their gods, which are yet no gods? Have all these other heathenistic nations in the red box changed their gods? No, they've been worshiping these shitty-ass gods ever since these gods was established to them. The so-called white man has not changed his blue-eyed, blonde-haired, red-skinned Jesus, which is not the son of the Heavenly Father according to the scriptures. The white man haven't changed that. The East Indians haven't changed Krishna, Vishnu, and Devaki. The Syrians haven't changed their gods, their deities over there in Assyria and Syria. The Arabs have not changed Islam. The Arabs have not changed Muhammad. The Arabs have not changed Allah, the moon god, the Kaaba rock that they worship. They haven't changed that, the Kaaba stone. The Chinese have not changed Buddhism. They have not changed Buddha. The Japanese have not changed that. The Ethiopians down to the South Africans, basically Hamites, Africans, they have not changed the gods of Kemet. The Egyptians have not changed Isis, Horus, Osiris, Anubis, Seth, Nut, Geb, and all these other Egyptian deities. You see what I'm saying? And going back to 13 through 18, all those are just Esau got the credit for all those as well. They haven't changed their gods. They still worshiping this. But Israel have changed. They have altered their gods. Pursuing to Jeremiah 2 and 11, it says, but my people have changed their glory. To change your glory is to give your statutes and your commandments up to fall after another heathen nation, which don't have the truth. That's what a lot of our people have done and still doing to this day. Like you have these brothers, right? These Israelite men that want to run it in the ground and want to take it to the grave that they Muslims, that they Moors. They want to run it in the ground that they are Egyptologists. Our brothers, they want to run it in the ground that they're everything else but an Israelite and that they're everything else. They don't want to accept the fact that they the chosen. They the Israelites. They are the people, the true Jews, who they call niggas in America. They want to dip and dab in other philosophies of the heathen. And when you do that, that is known as changing the Most High's glory for that which do not profit. So that's what we did as a nation. So when you go back to Isaiah 24 and 5, that's what it's talking about. because they have transgressed the laws. You broke the commandments, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and you also changed the ordinances and broke the everlasting covenant, bringing upon yourself destruction. Isaiah 24:6. Therefore have the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. So you can see for yourself in Isaiah 24:6 says, therefore have the curse devoured the earth, man. Now what is the curse? The curse is talking about judgment. Judgment that's going to sweep the earth, that involves nuclear destruction, because on the behalf of what the chosen people have done in the eyes of God, they have violated the laws of the laws of God and fallen after other nations. So ultimately, in the end, the other nations going to get it, and also the 2/3 of Israel going to get it. That's the curse that have devoured the earth. The judgment that's to come, nuclear destruction. All right, that's the curse that have devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. They that dwell therein, people doing whatever they feel. They don't give a damn about the Most High. That's what it means. They that dwell therein are desolate. They don't care about these laws. So in your return for breaking the laws, therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned. Now what is that? Is that talking about splashing a little gasoline on you and lighting a match? Is this talking about hell that the Roman Catholic Church teaches? False doctrine? Talking about hell in the earth? No. The inhabitants of the earth are burned. It's talking about nuclear destruction, capability, nuclear power, nuclear holocaust. The inhabitants of the earth are burned. What else? How? You tell me what else could be inhabitants of the earth being burned besides nuclear destruction? Don't play with me, man. And few men are left. Because it really says few men are left. That's talking about only a remnant of the Most High is going to make it, man. And that's the elect of the nation of Israel. The 33.3%. Only few men are left, man. Pursuing the Israelite pie chart of salvation, man. Okay? The Israelite pie chart of salvation and destruction. Only few men are left. This is talking about the 1/3. The 33.3% of the nation of Israel pursuing the Zechariah 9, man. That would be saved along with the 144,000 prophets. That would be the chaperones over the 1/3. This is talking about very few are left. 2/3 of all people, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans over here, 66.6% of the nation of Israel shall die pursuing to Zechariah 13:8. 2/3 of our people is going to be cut off. And that's why it says in Isaiah 24:6, few men are left after the inhabitants are burned, man. Okay, few men are left. Few men. When Yahweh stated, many are called, but few are chosen. That's what it's talking about. Isaiah 24:7. The new wine mourning, divine language. All the merry-hearted do sigh. Isaiah 24:7. The new wine mourning. What that's talking about? Because people going to want strong drink in the last days to soothe their pain. Like, they're going to find out that this destruction that involves nuclear power, they're going to find out like this nuclear invasion is no joke. They're going to see it for what it really is. They're going to say, oh, the prophets wasn't lying. Oh, man, America's going to be destroyed by nuclear missiles. Oh, we thought that was a lie. Now they see it for really, they see the prophecies for what they really are. And they see that the prophecies are faithful and true. And now it says the new wine mourning, divine language, all the merry heart do sigh. Now they want to turn to a shot to try to ease their pain. That's Isaiah 24:7. That's what it's talking about. People want strong drink to soothe their sorrow, man. They want to turn to some hypnotic Patron, Grey Goose, Hennessy, whatever you want to think that'll soothe your pain concerning alcohol is not going to soothe your pain. Isaiah 24:8. The mirth of the tabernacle ceased, the noise of them that rejoice ended, the joy of the harp ceased. So you can see right there, that's talking about the music industry. No more BET, no more damn MTV, country music television, no more of that, man. All these musical stations, radio stations that promotes this ungodly, stupid ass music. Okay? It says the mirth of the tavern cease, the noise of them that rejoice in it, the joy of the heart cease. No more partying, man. Okay? No more having fun, no more clubbing, no more going to the juke joints. No more halls and going to the casinos and pool pubs. That's over with, man. It's time to pay up. No more of that. Okay? Isaiah 24:9. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. Because like I said, they want shots of liquor to try to calm their pain, to soothe their pain, to soothe their sorrow, but it won't be enough to suffice them. They're gonna turn to strong drink to soothe their pain, but it's not gonna soothe it. Isaiah 24:10. The city of confusion is broken down. That's Babylon, the city of confusion, because that's where the word Babel comes from. Confusion, Babylon, America. It's confusion over here, man, in the United States. It's corporation. You have homosexuality, you have lesbianism, transgenderism, transvestites. You see what I'm saying? It's confusion over here. All different nations dwelling over here, speaking different dialects. It's a city of confusion over here, man. Legalizing abominable rights. They legalizing gay rights. It's confusion over here, man. Androgynous men that looks like women. Can't tell a man from a woman from a man. Can't tell a boy from a girl from a boy. It's confusion over here, man. It says in the city of confusion, believe it's going to be broken down. How? I'm telling you how. Here. Every house is set up that no man may come in. Well, let me go over that. Because you think that your security systems, you think by locking your doors and locking your windows is going to prevent you from the wrath of God. That's why I say every house is set up that no man may come in. Because now the wrath of God, the wrath of the Most High is on the verge of destroying various people, right? And there's many people that's going to think that they can lock up their house, lock up their doors, and lock their windows, and put their security systems on to prevent them from the wrath of God. It's not going to work, man. That won't save you from the Most High wrath to come. Isaiah 24:11. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. So there's a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened and the mirth of the land is gone. This is talking about the day of the stress of the Most High. You know, basically, you know, there's crying for wine in the street. All the joy is darkened. All those good times, all those American times you had. You know, when you got together, sung your American anthems. All those ballpark games, NFL games, NBA games, boxing games. All this Americanized stuff that you took joy and you took pride and you was part of. You know, the American history. You know, the American dream. All this is come to an end. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone. America glory is gone. It's time for destruction, and it's time for the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans to rule in their kingdom. And America is all that, all those glorious times that you can recall of America is gone. It's darkened. That's what Isaiah 24:11 is talking about. Okay, Isaiah 24:12. And the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. So the city is left desolation, that's verse 12, and the gate is smitten with destructions. Like secure cities, like you have certain areas in America that's like tightly secure. That won't keep the wrath of God from invading in, man. And also, it's talking about like cities, skyscrapers, bridges, subways, train stations, stuff like that, man. Ballparks, all that stuff is going to be eradicated. All that stuff is going to be destroyed, man. Okay, that's all it's talking about. Isaiah 24:13. When thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be as the shaking of an olive tree, and as the gleaning grapes when the vintage is done. What is talking about in Isaiah 24:13? It is talking about that the elect making it and the 2/3 being destroyed. All it's talking about is the Israelite pie chart of salvation once again. How the 1/3 of the nation of Israel that's keeping God's commandments will make it, but the 2/3 that's violating God's commandments will not make it. That's all it's talking about. To wrap it up in a nutshell, it's talking about the Israelite pie chart of salvation, how many will make it, but also many will be destroyed. And I will go over that. It says, when thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be as a shaking of an olive tree. Now, who's the olive tree? Israel is the olive tree. Let's go to Jeremiah 11:16 to show you that Israel is the olive tree. Jeremiah 11:16. Okay. Israel is the olive tree indeed. Jeremiah 11:16. It says, the Lord Yahweh called your name a green olive tree. See that? Fair and a goodly fruit, with the noise of a great tumult. He have kindled fire upon it, and the branches are broken. So the Most High is talking about Israel, man. Because when you read Jeremiah 11:17, it says, for the Lord Yahweh of hosts that planted thee have pronounced evil against thee for the evil of the house of Israel and the house of Judah. So, you know, Israel, the house of Israel being the northern kingdom and the house of Judah, the southern kingdom, was all referred to as of a green olive tree right here in Jeremiah 11:16. So Israel is the olive tree. So when you go back in Isaiah 24:13, it speaks of the olive tree. That's talking about Israelites, man. Whether you're a righteous Israelite or whether you're evil as Israelite, whether you're on this side over here as keeping the commandments or whether you're on this side over here breaking the commandments, it all referring to Israel. And it said, the people that shall be shaken of an olive tree as the gleaning grapes when the vintage is done. So let me give you a perfect example. It's like, you know, a tree that's full of olives. When you go up to an olive tree and you go to shaking it, right? All those olives start coming down. But it's very few olives that's left. And very few olives that's left on the olive tree are counted as the elect. When you go to shaking the olive tree real hard and all the olives go to fall into the earth, that's talking about the olives that did fall to the earth are the 2/3, the 66.6%. The 66.6% of the nation of Israel that didn't keep God's laws, they are the olives that fell to the earth. But the olives that remain on the vine or the branch are the 1/3. That's all it's talking about. Also referring to the gleaning of grapes, because when you shake a grapevine, all those grapes go to fall into the earth, but there are certain grapes that remain on the vine. And those grapes, once again, that remain on the vine, whether they olives that remain on the tree or grapes that remain on the vine after it's shaken, they are known as the 1/3, the elect of the nation of Israel. However, the olives that fell from the tree or the grapes that fell from the vine are the Israelites that didn't hold on to their faith or didn't keep the commandments of God. So that's all that's talking about. The Israelite pie chart of salvation in Isaiah 24th chapter 13. To make a long story short, talking about basically the elect will make it and the 2/3 will be cut off. And the perfect, like I say, Zechariah 13:8 is a perfect cross reference. Zechariah 13:8. Let me show you something. Zechariah 13:8. It says, Zechariah 13:8, and it shall come to pass that in all the land, said the Lord Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the 3rd shall be left therein. And that's talking about the pie chart, the Israelite pie chart salvation instruction. 2 parts will be cut off right here in the red, and 1/3 will be spared. They will reign with the Most High. They will be saved. That's all it's talking about once again in Isaiah 24 chapter and the 13th verse. All right, Isaiah 24:14. They shall lift up their voice. They shall sing for the majesty of the Lord Yahweh. They shall cry loud from the sea. So that's talking about after the nuclear destruction have taken place on America, the elect that's saved, the elect that has been saved by the chariots of the Most High, the elect that overcame, the elect that wasn't consumed in the second death, the elect that was liberated and saved by the hands of the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. They will praise Yahweh Shem Yahushai after the nuclear destruction. They will praise him for not being destroyed, for not letting them get caught up in this nuclear destruction. They will praise him for not letting them be a part of the 2/3 that was killed and destroyed. The elect will praise the Most High for delivering them from this upcoming destruction, and that they shall lift their voice. That's the aftermath of the nuclear destruction, so to speak, in Isaiah 24:14. Isaiah 24:15. Wherefore glorify ye the Lord Yahweh in the fires. See, so that's talking about right there, man, the fires. Glorify ye the Lord in the fires. Even the name of the Lord Yahweh, God of Israel, is in the isles of the sea. So if you part of the elect, you only that time will tell when you saved by the Most High, you will glorify him in the midst of the fires. You will glorify him for not being consumed and not being taken by this thermonuclear holocaust. Isaiah 24:16. It says, from the uttermost part of heaven have we heard songs. The uttermost part of the heavens is America, man, United States. It says because the uttermost part of the of America out of North, Central, and South America is North America. It says even glory to the righteous, but I said my leanness, my leanness. Now what is that? My leanness, my leanness. What is that? That's talking about the population of the world. My leanness, the population of the world. Woe unto me, woe unto the population, man. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Yeah, the treacherous dealers have dealt very treacherously. That's talking about, the heathen alone, the 2/3 that were not keeping the commandments of God. Isaiah 24:17. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon thee, O inhabitants of the earth. Isaiah 24:17. That's self-explanatory. Basically talking about those that are breaking the Most High's commandments. Nuclear capability followed by destruction is in store for you. The wrath of God is in store for you. That's all it's talking about. Isaiah 24:18. And it shall come to pass that he who fled from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit, and he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundation of the earth do shake. And Isaiah 24:18, I'm going to expound on that. Talking about nuclear destruction that's soon to come. That's all it's talking about once again. Say it shall come to pass that he who fled from the noise of the fear shall fall into a pit, and he that cometh up of the midst of the pit shall be taken in a snare. Basically, brothers and sisters that's breaking the Most High's commandments, it's inevitable for you to try to escape this nuclear destruction, because you're not going to be able to escape the wrath of God followed by this nuclear destruction. And it says, for the windows from on high are open. That's talking about fire raining down, man. That's talking about fire raining down, these missiles raining down. The windows of heaven, the windows from on high are open. Talking about missiles raining over here, blowing up this region. And the foundations of the earth do shake. What causes the earth to shake? Thermonuclear capability. Isaiah 24:19 says the earth is utterly broken down, the earth is clean, the earth is dissolved, the earth is moved exceedingly. Because the earth, it says the earth is utterly broken down, the earth is clean, because fire is a cleansing agent. Fire is like a perfect cleansing agent, man. If you want to purge anything, what would be better than using fire, man? So the earth is going to be purged by the fervent heat from the nuclear destruction. The earth is utterly broken down. How? Nuclear capability is going to break the earth down. All right? The earth is broken down right here. See, so the earth is broken down, the earth is dissolved. How? Right here. Thermonuclear destruction. The earth is dissolved, man. Okay, because it said that in 2 Peter chapter 3 as well. The earth is dissolved. By fervent heat, the earth is moved exceedingly. The earth is moved out of proportion by this nuclear capability, creating a line of confusion. Nuclear explosions, man. Okay, that's what it's talking about. All right, if you go in 2 Peter 3:10, like I stated, it talks about the earth being dissolved. 2 Peter 3:10, let's look at that. All right, 2 Peter 3:10 for a cross-reference. Pursuant to Isaiah 24:19. This is the precept, 2 Peter 3:10. on how, the earth is going to be dissolved. 2 Peter 3 and 10. But the day of the Lord Jehovah will come as a thief in the night, in which the heavens shall pass away with great noise. What is that? Boom! Explosion, man. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. So what else will melt the elements of the earth if it's not nuclear capability? What else is going to destroy this place? What else will melt what else can possibly melt the elements of the earth if it's not nuclear destruction, man? See, that's why I'm telling you, brothers and sisters that don't believe this, we can't help you, man. We can't help you. The elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also in the works that are therein shall be burned up. 2 Peter 3 and 11. Seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved. How? Boom. There you go. All these things shall be dissolved. What manner of person are you to be in all holy conversation and godliness? So seeing that these things shall be dissolved. Because basically knowing that the prophecy is going to come. Knowing that America is reserved for heat. Like, what condition should you be in? Like, what manner of person are you to be? Like, man, you got to keep these laws. The Bible is telling you keep the laws of Paris. If you know this, then why would you continue on breaking the laws of God, man? What manner of persons are you to be, knowing that, seeing that all these things shall be dissolved, knowing that the earth is going to be obliterated by nuclear destruction? What manner are you to be? What you are supposed to be doing? You're supposed to be keeping these laws, man. And that goes back to Isaiah once again, 24 and 19, I believe. The earth utterly being broken down, the earth is clean and dissolved, the earth is moved exceedingly. Isaiah 24 and 20. The earth shall reel to and fro is back and forth, back and forth. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, like a drunk man that's staggering, leaning back and forth. You know what I'm saying? He don't got a shot of alcohol. He don't got all that oil in him. And you know how the drunkards do. You know how the people that's intoxicated, you know how they do. They rock back and forth. They not sober. They're rocking back and forth, to and fro. That's how the earth is going to rock. The earth is going to reel to and fro, like back and forth like a drunk man or a drunk woman. It says, and shall be removed like a cottage. Now, a cottage is like a cottage is, you can look up the Hebrew word for that. That's Hebrew 44 and 12. And that's maluana, I believe. That's how you would say cottage. And a cottage is where garden keepers lodge. Garden keepers. It's like a hut where garden keepers lodge at. And cottage is like referred to an old hut or a shack. So the earth shall go shake back and forth like a drunkard. It shall be removed like a hut. You know what I'm saying? It says, and transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and shall fall and not rise. Basically, all this wicked stuff that's going on, brothers and sisters, pursuing Isaiah 24:20, all this wicked stuff, man, that's going on. It would be no more homosexuality, lesbianism, transgenderism, interracial marriage, because that's a sin in the eyes of the Most High. It would be no more of that after this corporation Babylon the Great goes down in flames, man. Isaiah 24:21, and it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord Yahweh shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And Isaiah 24:21 is talking about no other than the elites, the Illuminati and secret societies. They're going to be punished too, because they're going into slavery, man. And we're going to put the chains on them. They're going into slavery. We're going to work the hell out of them and do them the same way they did us, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So Isaiah 24:22, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in prison, and after many days they shall be visited. Because we're going to reserve the remnant of Edom, man. Let me show you something. This is Isaiah as a cross-reference to Isaiah 24:22. This is the precept right here, Amos 9 and 11. Let's look at that. Amos 9 and 11. Because, Esau going to be reserved, man. Amos 9 and 11. And that day I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen. What day? When we get our rulership in the kingdom. You know, it says, and close up the breaches thereof, because Israel became a segregated kingdom. Northern and southern kingdom, Most High gonna close that back up to one kingdom again. And I will rise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, when David ruled over the nation of Israel, when we was a whole. He's gonna build it back in the days of old. We're gonna be one nation again. It's not gonna be a northern and southern kingdom. Okay, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is all gonna be united together. You know, the rule in this earth through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. Amos 9 and 12, that they may possess the remnant of Edom. So it's going to be a remnant of the so-called white man that's preserved. And that's the elites, man. That's going to make it through this nuclear destruction. Actually, they will survive this nuclear destruction by their underground bunkers. But after this nuclear destruction, you know, by them surviving, by their underground bunkers, we're going to put chains on the remnant of Edom, you know, that we may possess the remnant of Edom, that we're going to enslave the remnant of Edom. We're going to put them in slavery, man. As you can see here, several illustrations in the slavery folder. This is what we're going to do, man. We're going to preserve. We're going to take the Edom. We're going to take their women for spoils of war. You know what I'm saying? And they going into slavery, man, hands down. Okay, several illustrations of the so-called white man. And all the other nations, all the heathen, they going into slavery. As you can see, man. Yes, it's going to happen. The white man's destiny, according to the Bible. Slavery. That's Esau. That's Edom, man. Whether you believe it or not, because some people out here are saying that the Edomites are the Arabs. The Edomites ain't no damn Arabs. The Arabs are Ishmaelites. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is the white man's destiny, according to the Bible. So we're not making it up. Amos 9 and 12, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen, because we're going to possess the heathen too as slaves, the Africans, Arabs, you know what I'm saying, the East Indians, we're going to possess them too, which are called by my name, said the Lord, because the heathen that's called by his name are those fake Jews over in Palestine, Israel, that's claiming to be the Most High's chosen. So as you can see right there, I just wanted to bring out Amos 9 and 12 to show you that they may possess the remnant of Edom, because it's going to be a remnant of Edom that's preserved, pursuant to Isaiah 24 and 22, that they shall be gathered together as prisoners are, and gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison. And after many days they shall be visited, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to put them in slavery and servitude. It's talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you know, subjugating the heathen and putting them in slavery. Starting with the so-called white man. Isaiah 24 and 23. Then it says the moon shall be confounded and the sun shall be ashamed. Basically, it's not talking about the heavenly luminaries. It's talking about moon as far as the understanding. And the sun is for referring to the wisdom. Because, you know, the sun, moon, and stars, the sun is referred to knowledge. The moon is referred to wisdom. No, the sun is referred to wisdom, the moon is referred to knowledge, and the stars are referred to understanding. So it's talking about the so-called white man, you know, his intellect, his mental state, you know, his understanding, that is referred to the moon and the sun shall be ashamed. Basically, all his understanding is going to be, how can I say this? His understanding is going to be demolished. All his lies and falsehood and deceit is going to be broken down. Because he have lied to us for over eons of time concerning these lies, falsehood, and deceit. So the so-called white man understanding will be brought down to an end. That's all it's talking about. When the Lord of the host shall reign in Mount Zion and Jerusalem before, you know, his angels gloriously. So this is talking about Israel returning to the kingdom as blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and all the heathen going down, man. You know, so I hope I was a help to you on Isaiah the 24th chapter. This video has been approximately an hour and about 9 minutes. And I don't want to prolong the video. I just wanted to expound on Isaiah the 24th chapter concerning Solid Foundation, Israelite Academy. Share the truth, brothers and sisters. Share the truth with others. Help others. Wake up others. Because we're living in some perilous times. We're at the end. And the only way you're going to make it is keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments of the Heavenly Father and of His Son. So with this, I say Yahweh Shem Shai, Barakatah Yahweh Shem Shai, the Wadi Yahweh Shem Shai, And Barakatah Aki and Wa of Wam. And till next time, say Shalom.